Hello and welcome. In this video session, we will discuss the concepts of loops and iteration. We have divided the session in two parts. In the first session, we will discuss the theoretical concepts of loop and iterations. And in the next video session, we will discuss some working examples of loops and iterations. Before we discuss, let us see the topics that are covered in this session. We will give an introduction to loops, why are loops used in any programming language, what is the significance of loops. Then we study what is a while loop. Then we will see what is a for loop and how to use the range in loops. Then we will see the significance of continue and break statement that is used within the loops. And in the next video session, we will be seeing some examples of all these concepts. Now let us begin the discussion by examining what are loops and iterations used for. Loops are usually the very important and essential features of any programming language. Loops helps in performing the same job again and again using a given set of code. The loops are usually used along with the decision making statements which keeps the loop running till the decision making statement is true. For example, now let us consider a use case where we have to display the multiplication of 10. Now let us see the program without the concept of a loop. So on the left hand we can see we are printing each of the tables one by one, that is 10 into 1, 10 into 2, 10 into 3. We go on until 10 into 10. If the required conditions are more, then the coding involved will also be more. So these, the left hand side indicates the coding without using the concept of loop. Now with the use of loop, what we can achieve the same thing using very less number of lines of code. So here what we have taken is a while loop. So to explain this, we have taken a count equal to 1, and we there is a decision making statement here. If count is less than or equal to 10, then we print 10 into count, so count will be replaced by the value, and finally we have incremented the value of count by 1. So these two lines forms the body of this while loop, and this is the syntax of while loop. We will see the syntax and working of while loop in next slide. So this makes our coding very easy. Also, the number of lines of code using the loop concept will be drastically reduced. So we, in this case, we are doing the same thing again and again by using the concept of loop. Now in Python, let us see what are the different types of loop statement that are used. As discussed in the previous slide, we use the while loop, and there is a concept of infinite loop, and we have a for loop in Python. In a short while, we will discuss each of the loop in detail. Before that, let us see what are break and continue statements in Python. So there are many use cases during the loop in which we have to break the loop condition. That is, during the execution of the loop, let us say we have to come out of the loop in between. In that case we use break statement. So break is used even before we complete the complete we complete the loop. So we use the break statement, whereas in case of a continue, when we use continue, the rest of the program code that forms the body of the loop is skipped, and it enters, or it goes to the, or the execution jumps to the beginning of the loop. So the examples of break and continue we will also see in the program in next video. Now let us consider while loop. So as discussed before, in the while loop we have to specify the condition, and this condition decides whether we are entering the body of the while or not. So if the given condition is true, so if this condition whatever we have specified in the while condition is true, then it executes the body of the while loop. If the condition is not true, it 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 comes out of the loop and it executes the next line. So one important thing about the while loop is it executes the complete body of the loop, and again at the end of the loop, it again checks for the condition, and if condition is true, again it executes the body of the loop. So this looping is forever until the condition is true. So as soon as at any given point of time the condition becomes false, it does not execute the body of the loop, and it comes out of the loop and starts executing the next line. Now, let us see the concept of infinite loop. Infinite loops are nothing but the loops that are run forever. For example, we have a infinite loop running usually in embedded systems, or in systems like ATM machines, or a sensors of automotive, or a robots, or a server, in which the server needs to listen for any client request all the time. So here we have to run a given set of statements, or a given set of program forever. So this is called as a infinite loop, where the condition of the loop is always true, and these are used in most of the embedded systems most of the times. Now let's discuss the last loop in Python, the for loop. The for loop usually is used to iterate through each of the element or item of a sequence, and these sequence are like lists, tuples, strings, dictionaries, and many others. So, for example, we will discuss more on the concepts of list, tuples, dictionaries, but here we can consider that these list tuples are like a sequence, and using the for loop, the each element of the sequence can be iterated and performed some given operations. So in the next video session, we will see some working examples of the while loop, the for loop, the continue, the break statements. Thank you.